Hello and welcome to my workshop, How to Reconnect to Your True Self. My name is Lucretia Ackfield and I am so pleased that you've decided to join me today. This workshop is a pay what you can workshop to help make it accessible to as many people as possible. Underneath this video, you will see a link where you can make your donation. Thank you in advance for your support. I'm so glad you're here. Now, today's workshop, how you can reconnect to your true self. This workshop is for you if you feel disconnected from yourself, unsure of your next steps, find yourself easily influenced by the opinions and beliefs of other people, and particularly you find yourself seeking their advice all the time about what you should do next because you never feel quite sure in yourself what is right for you. You might feel a bit lost. You might feel bombarded by everyone else's opinions and all the other information out there. If that sounds, relevant for you, you're in the right place. We're going to help you today to take some steps to reconnect to your true self, where you can access your inner wisdom, your intuition, and in doing so, help you to feel more secure in yourself and to step forward more confidently in the direction that your soul is calling on you to go in. All right, today, what are we going to cover? We are going to, first of all, talk about why go out there and find yourself is such bad advice. Then we're going to talk about why you might struggle to feel connected to yourself. We're going to talk about how it feels to be connected versus disconnected. And then I'm going to provide you with 3 easy things you can do to start building that stronger connection to your true self. And at the end, I'm going to provide you with some brief details about my new program, which is called The Journey Within, which builds on the work that we're going to cover in this workshop today. So stick around, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Probably should only go for about 30 to 40 minutes. And you will definitely walk away with some practical activities that you can do for yourself easily to help you reconnect to your true self. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Let's start with why go out there and find yourself is such bad advice. And you may actually have been on the receiving end of this advice when you have felt lost, unsure of yourself, you don't really know what direction to go in, and someone who is very well-meaning and well-intentioned has said to you, you need to go out there and find yourself. But I think that actually is really bad advice. And I'm going to tell you why. You see, going out there and finding yourself, that bit of advice implies that you're out there somewhere in the distance and you have to go and find that person that you are. And I don't believe that for a second. Your true self is within you. So you're not going to find it out there. You actually need to do the journey within to reconnect to the person and the self that you already are. The person, the self, the true self that is already within you. That's the journey you need to do. Not go out there and try to find yourself. You're already here, but you're not connected in. Now, the other thing we need to recognize is when people tell us to go out there and find ourselves, out there is full of everyone else's expectations, beliefs, celebrity trends, what your friends think, what your family thinks, what society says you should do, all these other things influencing you and telling you what you can and can't be. And your mind absorbs all of that and then crafts these stories for you about what you can and cannot be in your life and who you are and who you are not. And those stories, well, they're all lies. They're made up and are in response to your external environment. And none of that is true. What is true is what lies within you. And that's what you need to reconnect to. Your truth. And then you move forward from there in a much more solid, grounded, and secure way. Now, the thing is, when you are out there and you're looking out there, you are putting so much of your power as well out there too. You are putting your personal power in the hands of other people. But what I want you to do is to bring your power back in and to hold it firmly within yourself as a fire that you can call on, as a strength that you can pull on to create the life that you want to create. So that's why I think go out there and find yourself is pretty poor advice. But where does it even come from? Let's go a bit deeper with this. Why are we told to go out there and find ourselves? Well, I have a sense that it actually is tied up with another story that we see in films and books and television shows. It's pretty much everywhere, and we've been hearing it for literally thousands of years. And it's something that's known as the hero's journey. It's a narrative of a man who goes out there on a quest to prove himself. He fights battles and faces obstacles, and only when he has proved himself a man, he returns home victorious. And he is recognized by the people around him and validated by the people around him. Now, this is the hero's journey. And if you think about the films and the books and the shows that you have seen just in your lifetime, you can see this narrative playing out again and again and again. Now, this type of story can make a great movie or a book. I've seen great movies and books that are based around this narrative. But what we need to recognize, it is very much based on the masculine. It's very much based on the patriarchal drive to go out, to push out, to also dominate because you want them to be victorious over someone else, to triumph over these obstacles, and then receive this validation and this recognition from everyone else out there. Now, what the hero's journey does not do is it doesn't focus on the internal world of these heroes. It doesn't care about increasing the hero's self-awareness. It really doesn't ask the hero to increase his understanding of himself, his shadows, or his self-work. And it certainly doesn't like to dwell on the hero's vulnerability or sensitivity. Now, yes, I know there are some films and shows that do focus on these things, but they are still in the minority. For the most part, the hero's journey is to go out there, triumph, face obstacles, return home victorious, and be validated by other people. Now, this is a patriarchal narrative. And when you recognize that even now in 2024, this is what we are still primarily being shown on our screens, you start to understand why we as women are still going out there trying to find ourselves, because this is the story that we are being shown and told is the way to do that. And what you see is what you think is obvious, right? You think this is the normal. You think this is the way to do it. And I'm going to say to you that that's not working. Clearly it's not working, because you wouldn't even be in this workshop if it was working for you. And when I look out there and I see women still trying to live their lives in this way, it's very clear to me that it's not working. But there is another way. And I call it the heroine's journey. And it is the journey within. Now, it is only by doing this journey that you can reconnect to your true self. Remember, your true self is already there, waiting to be seen, recognized, and acknowledged by you. It's already there. Your power is already there. Your wisdom is already there. It's just that most of us don't even know this because no one's told us about it. No one's encouraged us to access it. And where do you start with this, right? I certainly was never told about this stuff. No one taught me through it. I learned it the hard way, and I learned it later in life. And one of my passions now is to help women learn this much earlier so they can come into alignment more quickly, more easily, connect to their inner wisdom, and then get out there and help to create the world that we all want to see. A kinder world, a more empowered world, a world where we have more joy and more creativity and more self-awareness and compassion for others. That's what I think we all want to see, right? Okay. So the heroine's journey requires us to look inwards, not outside of yourself for the answers. It also requires you to face yourself, your lightness and your shadows, because we are comprised of both of these things. People who say, oh, I'm just going to send love all the time and just live in the light all the time. Well, I would say to you, that's not the true human experience for most people. We are energetic beings having a human experience, and we are here to experience, explore the full gamut of our light and our shadow, to understand, yes, even those shadowy parts of ourselves, and then navigate for our lives forward, understanding that we are complex, we are complicated, and that's okay. That's healthy, okay? So, but aside from looking at our shadows, the heroine's journey is also about self-acceptance and self-trust and connecting in deeply to who we are, our essence, our soul self, our true self, and then navigating our lives from that really grounded and true place. But how does that sound? I think that sounds pretty good. All right, let's keep going. Now, I want you to also keep in mind that this heroine's journey is obviously not about the external. It is not about seeking validation or approval from anyone else, because let's face it, other people can take away their validation like that. They can take away their approval like that. And also, what other people want and don't want can change, and you have no control over that. And so if you are constantly out there trying to control it and trying to mold yourself and contort yourself into what you think other people will approve of or validate, you are never going to have any peace. And also, you're not here to live a life that only ever makes other people happy, or it makes other people happy in the way that you think they might be happy, you know, because you're doing a lot of mind reading in that as well. That's not what you're here to do, honey. You are here to live in alignment with your soul self, your true self, and also to empower other people to do the same. And it's only when we do that for ourselves first, we show other people how that it's okay to do it for themselves as well. And then we can all move forward in a much more authentic and a personally powerful way. And yes, I am using that word power a lot, because even today, when we talk about power and women, a lot of us still feel a bit of discomfort for that. You know, oh, can I be a powerful woman? Is that okay for me to do? Aren't there a lot of negatives attached to that? Well, I want to tell you that being powerful and grounded and connected to your true self is a wonderful thing for women. And it's a wonderful thing for the planet, and it's a wonderful thing for our society, because it means that we are owning our power, and then we can use it to make things better, which honestly, I feel like that's what we're here to do. We're here to use our gifts to make the world a better place in whatever way feels aligned for us as individuals. So yes, you need to own your personal power and really hook into your true self for the wisdom so you can get out there and do what you're called to do. All right. So I also want to point out before I go on, and this is important, is I am not saying that, because you might think to yourself, oh, Lucretia, this all sounds very selfish. Lucretia, this sounds very selfish because you are saying that I should just do whatever I want to do and just disregard how anyone else feels or what they want. That's actually not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that yes, you will absolutely love and value people in your life, and that is a healthy thing to do, and that is something I would encourage everyone to do. But what they value and their beliefs and their opinions are not necessarily healthy for you to adopt. And this is one of the challenges we face because a lot of us can be people pleasers. Yes, I see you. And I understand that dynamic. I've been there myself before. But contorting ourselves and living a life that just makes other people happy will never give you peace. And what other people believe and think doesn't necessarily serve you. And molding yourself around others is never going to make you happy in yourself. That's not what you're here to do. And also, someone who genuinely loves you is never going to want you to change yourself to make them happy, because that's not what healthy love is. I'm telling you right now, if you love someone in a healthy way, you understand that they are their own unique person with their own unique path, and asking or expecting them to be another way to make you happy, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. All right, let's go down to another layer of this whole thing. Why do we struggle to reconnect to our true selves or to connect in the first place? Well, one of the other influences is that we are not encouraged in society to connect to our inner wisdom, which is your intuition. We're not encouraged to do that. Instead, what we're taught to do, and it's reinforced over and over again, often through family and friends and society and schooling and, social narratives, is that we should, first of all, always think things through. Think it through. Have you thought it through? We should seek the opinions of other people all the time. We should make these pros and cons lists, and when we're feeling indecisive, to weigh up the positives and the negatives to try and come to a conclusion. And we should be focused on here. And this, while is a very useful tool, our mind is very powerful and it's really valuable. I'm not dismissing it, but relying on this to make our decisions completely bypasses the wisdom that we already have, the wisdom that you already have. Your intuition is already there, okay? And essentially, we are taught from a very young age to rely on our minds, look to other people for the answers, and bypass our inner voice. And worse still, for those of us who have had inklings of that inner voice bubbling up over time, when it does come up, and as a result, we might challenge what someone has told us, we might decide to go down a more non-traditional path in the eyes of other people. What you might have experienced in those moments is a lot of pushback from others, because what you have said or what you are feeling called to do doesn't line up with what they think should happen. And you might have received pushback on that and upset these people because of these choices you were making or the opinions that you were expressing. And because you have this feeling in you that you want to make other people happy, and also because you're quite a sensitive person, and most of the people I work with are sensitive because, hey, like attracts like. I see you. But when you've received this pushback, that can be really confronting. And if you don't have that really solid core connection to self at that time, What happens is that you may then learn to push down that intuition. You may learn to ignore it because it makes other people uncomfortable, and it makes you uncomfortable as a result. It makes you stand out from the crowd, which might be something that you're not encouraged to do and you feel uncomfortable about as well. And so you push it down and you push it down. And when you do that, you are pushing down your truth. And I have to tell you that your truth will eventually explode and it will come roaring out of you. And it's much better and much more gentler for yourself if you find ways to, first of all, understand what's happening, and second of all, to accept that you have a right in your life to live in alignment with your truth. And this wisdom that you have coming up actually is a valuable tool for you, that every person can access this to a certain degree. And the more you work with it, the more powerful and aligned you can be in your life with this inner wisdom. And the ultimate goal is to get alignment between your mind, your heart, which holds your desire, and your inner wisdom. And when you have those things lined up and working together, awesomeness happens. Awesomeness happens, I promise. Okay, so we're taught to disregard and bypass our intuition because it's inconvenient for other people. It makes other people uncomfortable. It makes us stand out, etc. And this isn't serving you. If that's what you're doing right now, it's not serving you. But I think the other thing to keep in mind is I fully understand from personal experience that when you are hooking into your intuition and living in alignment, it is going to make you stand out. You are going to challenge the status quo in some ways, and it might be in small ways or large ways. It depends on the situation and the person and the path that you're on. And none of that is wrong that you're doing that. But unfortunately, our minds in particular, because it's not just what other people are thinking, it's also what our minds are telling us about what we should and shouldn't do. And our minds love the comfort zone, right? Even if the comfort zone for you is not that comfortable in real life. So your inner wisdom can be coming up from your true self and saying, hey, you need to change, you need to go this other way. And your mind will be telling you, no, this is safe. Like, I know this situation. Look, I know it's not great, but look, I know it. I know this situation. And if I change things, then I don't know what will happen. It's a risk. And look, yeah, it could be better, but I don't know that. And so let's just stay here and just hang in there. It'll get better and we can just survive this. I have definitely had my mind tell me that in various situations in my life, and I bet you have as well. So we're not only battling the perspectives of other people and what we think other people want, what society expects of us, the status quo, we're also doing a bit of an internal battle with our own minds, which, can talk us in and out of almost anything. So what we need to do is to come back and really connect in strongly to our true self so we can navigate our world and our lives from there, and then use our minds as the valuable tools they are to help us implement, to create strategy. They're really powerful, but the real truth has to come from this much deeper place, not the stories that our minds make up, not the stories and things that our minds talk us in and out of, and certainly not from the stories that we are told by society and other people about who we should and shouldn't be and what we can or cannot do on our path. All right, so now we've kind of set the scene. Let's talk about how it feels to be connected versus disconnected from your true self. So let's start with how it feels to be disconnected, and I want to know if you can relate to any of these feelings. When you feel disconnected, you feel, well, you can feel one or more of these. Wobbly, unsure of yourself, easily influenced by the opinions of other people. You might feel bombarded by all the information around you. You can feel indecisive. And yes, you will feel ungrounded. Now, I just want to clarify here at this point what being ungrounded means, because I do see some posts on social media out there that actually, from my perspective, are not right. And I have really misinterpreted what grounded, ungrounded means. From an energetic perspective, when you are ungrounded, you are not working in the physical. Okay, you are not firmly planted in the physical world, and that means you're not firmly connected to your physical body. Now, there's a few reasons why this happens. Because you are a sensitive person, you are feeling, absorbing all the time, particularly if you have never learned how to create healthy, sustainable, energetic boundaries for yourself. And most of us are not taught how to do that. It's certainly something that I focus on with my personal clients, because I had to learn how to do it for myself, because it's a tricky thing to do. But once you start to understand how it all works, you can do it by default, and it becomes much easier over time. But yes, you're a sensitive person, so you're feeling, absorbing, and often you're an overthinker as well. Yes, hi. Look, I teach this stuff because I can relate to it and I've been on this journey, so trust me on that. So you're overthinking. So you're up in your head and you're out here, but you're not physically in your body. And you need to be physically connected. Excuse me. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold cough thing. And I was hoping to get through this whole workshop without having to do that. So thank you for your understanding. All right, where were we? You're ungrounded. You're not connected to your physical body, and you're not connected and earthed in. Now, you are an energetic being having a physical experience. You are here on this planet. And so it's very important that you are grounded, that you come out of your head and understand that you are physically on the physical plane, that you understand how to manage the energies that you can sense around you so you can stay in your body. This is actually a really important thing that sensitive people need to learn, because when we're ungrounded, it can create all kinds of issues for us, and we don't want those. All right, so can you relate to any of those things I just talked about? How it feels to be disconnected. Let's talk about how it feels to feel connected to your true self. It feels grounded. You feel empowered and powerful within yourself. Now, remembering that we're talking about power in a really healthy way. It's not about dominating other people. It's about holding your personal power within you and not allowing that to be impinged upon by anyone else. You also feel decisive, clear. You feel confident. What else do you feel? You feel present. And when you are feeling really connected into your true self, you are very clear about what you desire. You're connected into your inner wisdom. And then you are also very clear about the next steps that you're going to take in whatever path that you're on. That's how it feels. Okay. Now I want you to do a little bit of an exercise for me. I want you to start by asking yourself, when was the last time you felt disconnected? And what was going on for you at that time? And how did it feel in your body? Where did you feel those feelings of disconnection? Was it up here in your chest? Was it in your stomach? Was it somewhere else? Do you get tingling in your hands? What was going on? Now, I definitely do not want you to revisit any significant trauma while we do this little exercise. That's not what we want to be doing right now. But just think about a recent moment when you did feel that disconnection, and how did it feel inside of you? Now you've taken a moment to do that, I want you to keep in mind that our body doesn't lie. Our body is a great thermometer for telling us when positive things are happening and when negative things are happening. And it's certainly a great thermometer for telling us when we are disconnected from ourselves. Okay, so now you've got this memory of what it feels like, or what it felt like for you to be disconnected. I want you to bring to mind a time when you felt connected in to your true self. When you felt secure in yourself, you felt grounded, you felt clear, you felt empowered. And when you bring that to mind, what was happening in your life at that time to help you create that situation? And secondly, how did it feel in your body at that time? Because remembering once again that our bodies don't lie. They show us the truth of a situation. And it's important that we start to recognize the signals it is giving us, because it's giving us information that's valuable for us. Okay. Now, I want you to reflect on how those two situations felt very different in your body, and to understand that you have had those moments of disconnection, probably more than you would like. And yes, you have had at least one or two moments when you have felt connected. And I want to encourage you to sit with the idea that whatever you were doing in those moments where you felt connected, maybe you should start incorporating more of those into your life. And what was ever happening to you when you felt disconnected from your true self, maybe that's a signal. In fact, I would say it's definitely a signal for you to look at ways to not have that situation or situations come up in your life as often, or in fact at all. Because whatever you were doing in those moments of disconnection is not what you want, because you want to feel connected in to your true self. So have a bit of a think about that. How can you start to incorporate more of those activities into your life that help you feel connected? And how can you reduce the activities and the situations, and yes, sometimes even being around particular people that lead you to feel disconnected? How can you moderate those and increase these? All right. Now, I promised you that we were going to give you, well, I was going to give you 3 easy things that you could do to help you feel more connected. Now, I also just want to flag for you before I go on that feeling disconnected is part of the human experience. It's quite challenging to feel connected all the time. And in fact, I don't even know if most humans could achieve it. And the reason is that you are having a real life human experience, and life is going to throw you curveballs. That's going to happen. You know, it's part of the experience we're having here on the planet. Things are going to happen that are going to knock you off course, that are going to set you back on your backside, and you'll be like, what the heck is going on? You're going to go through moments of grief and sadness and loss and high levels of emotion. And when we have those experiences, it can be very easy to disconnect. The higher a level of your emotion, the more difficult it is to stay connected. Now, this is not a good or a bad thing. It just is. It's part of being human. What your challenge is to understand this and accept it as part of who you are. Remember, I mentioned the self-acceptance piece of the journey within. Yeah, this is part of it. You're human. Sometimes you will feel disconnected. But the important thing is when you feel disconnected is that you can recognize it, and then you can take steps to find your way back, to reconnect back into your true self. And you can build those strategies like a little toolbox that you can, work your way through and go, is this going to work today for me? And I'm going to do this, and it will work for you. In fact, when I work with clients, they will have a range of different things that will work for them. And different clients will have different things. And that's also because we're all human and we're all unique. So different things will work for different people. So yes, give yourself some slack on that. You will have moments of disconnection and moments of connection. We want to keep trying to come back to those moments of connection and make them longer in periods of time, and to try to contain those moments of disconnection as much as we can. All right, let's move on now to these 3 things that I want to tell you that you can do, 3 strategies you can do to help you find ways and move towards reconnecting in more strongly to your true self, to your inner power, to your inner wisdom, and the insight that you already hold within you. Okay, you ready? Let's go. Now, these are really straightforward. They're not complicated. You can definitely do these. And you don't have to do all 3. I would suggest after this workshop, just start with whichever of these 3 resonates with you and go from there. Okay? All right. Now, also just want to flag that if you want to go deeper with this work, at the end of this workshop, there will be a link underneath this video where you can get in touch with me and we can have a conversation about how we might work together and how you can do this journey within, this very deep and powerful work to really connect in strongly with your true self. All right, but for now, let's start with strategy number 1. And this is reconnect with your childhood. Like, what? What are you talking about, Lucretia? Okay. This is something that I talk to a lot of my clients about when we first start working together, because so many of us are so busy and just so focused on where we're going and what we're doing, and we feel the pressure and the stress and and we're all up in here. And when we're up in here, it's really hard to connect into our true self, and it's especially hard to hear our inner voice, our inner wisdom, our intuition. And the reason for that is our intuition, our intuitive voice speaks very quietly, and the noise up here can drown it out. So let's try to make that a little bit easier for you to start to connect in. And the way you can do this is I want you to go back and just for a moment now, reflect on what you did as a child or as a young person that brought you joy, where you felt free, something that you did that was only for you, nobody else. You didn't do it because someone told you to do it. You certainly didn't do it to get someone's approval or their validation or look at me, look at me. No, something you did when you were younger that just helped you to feel joy, when you felt free. Maybe it was a creative activity. Maybe it was just rolling down a hill, a grassy hill, climbing a tree. Take a minute now just to reflect on what something was that you did as a child that helped you to access those feelings. Now, this is my suggestion. When I say reconnect to your childhood, I want you to find a way to incorporate that activity back into your adult life. Now, yes, you might be saying, hang on, Lucretia, what? Look, I used to climb trees and I am now a very mature person of a certain number of years and I can't climb a tree. My response is, well, can't you? I mean, if you have some physical challenges which stops you from climbing a tree, I understand. Maybe it would be enough to go and sit under a tree, talk to a tree. Yes, even hug a tree, because when you hug a tree, you access the energy of that tree, which was probably something that you were working with when you were much younger. So yes, reconnect to that childhood activity that you did. And here's why. When you do that, when you were doing that back then, you were open. You weren't confined by stories in your mind. You weren't influenced or pressured by other people around you and what they thought you should or shouldn't do. You were just completely in alignment with you. And that feeling of alignment and the exclusion of all those other influences can help you to hear that intuitive voice, because all of that other noise from here and out there gets quietened down. And that's what you want, because when you get that quieter feeling, that's when your inner wisdom, your intuitive voice can be heard much more easily by you. It can bubble up without being pushed down. So yes, that's definitely one strategy that you can use. Give it a go. Let me know how that works out for you. All right, strategy number 2, get present and get out of your head. Now, I suspect if you're watching this workshop, there is a good chance that you might be a little bit of an overthinker. Maybe I'm being a bit too presumptuous there, but a lot of the very sensitive people I know are also highly intelligent and have backgrounds which have led them to be overthinkers. And when we are overthinking, we are once again up here. We are not here in this moment. We're like, la, 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 up there, okay? Once again, this is not conducive to helping you connect, reconnect into your true self and that wisdom that is waiting there for you. So, when you're up in your head all the time, really hard to hear the voice. How can you then help yourself to be more present? How are you going to do that? Well, I've got a few ideas. Maybe try these, let me know how you go. First of all, grounding and earthing yourself. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is so important for sensitive people. So, so important, and we are not taught how to do it. We are encouraged to be up here, and then we have this extra layer of being out here. This is not helping us. We need to work on ways to be a little bit less up here, thinking. We need to understand how to manage our boundaries around this, do the clearing we need to do, understand what's happening about ourselves, and manage our gifts. And we need to be earthed and grounded, because we are, remember what I said? Energetic beings having a physical experience. So how do you ground yourself so you can be more present? Okay, because that is the goal, to be here in this moment, not in the future, not in the past. Well, I can tell you some things that are stopping you from being grounded. And, you know, technology is one of them. And look, I fully appreciate that technology is a powerful tool. That's how you're watching me right now, and it's valuable. But information bombardment, social media, constant emails, constantly like viewing things online is not helping you to be present in this moment. It's not helping you to be grounded. And here's a little tip that you probably don't realize, is that when you are a sensitive person and you are online, you are in many ways, if you do not have good boundaries and you don't understand what's happening, you are absorbing to a certain extent the energy of everyone else who is online on that platform at that time. You probably didn't know that. Now, there are ways to clear that off, of course, and in moderation, it's fine. But the problem is we live in a world where we are constantly on our screens, absorbing, viewing. And this is not helping us to be present. And it is actually throwing you off balance. So I want you to consider that and look at ways that you can moderate your exposure to social media, for example. Now, understanding, of course, that social media by its very nature is addictive. So we have a bit of an uphill battle on that front sometimes. I totally get it. But it's also really worthwhile to recognize consciously, for example, that when we are doom scrolling, you know, when we're just scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whichever platform of choice you have, and I have no judgment about which one you're using. I mean, who cares? Everyone's got their own thing. But when you are doing that constant scrolling, what you're seeking is connection. There is a part of you that's seeking connection. Where is the connection? Where is the connection? Where is the connection? And you're not going to find it on a platform like that. And you're seeking that connection once again out there because you're disconnected from in here. It's that same narrative, you know, like, where do I find the answers? How do I feel better? What do I do? I look out there. And as we've talked about today, that's not serving you at all. We need to come within. So just be really conscious that these dynamics are happening and they are preventing you from being present and grounded and earthed, which actually needs to be your goal, and it's actually going to serve you much better than being out there all the time. Now, here's something else that you can do. Something that ungrounds us and takes us out of our bodies. And often we do it consciously, sometimes we do it unconsciously, is overindulging in stimulants, sugar, coffee, alcohol, and most definitely recreational drugs. Now, I can tell you right now that when I start to feel disconnected from myself, and look, I'm human, it happens, okay? What you will find, what I find, is I'll be reaching for the chocolate. That's my thing. Oh, look, and I can eat an entire block in one sitting. Yes, I can. And the good thing though is I'm getting much better at recognizing more quickly when that's happening and going, okay, hang on. I'm feeling really disconnected here from within. What do I need to shift here? What do I need to do differently? Do I need to get up and move my body? Do I need to, like, what is it do I need that I need to do? Now, so all of these stimulants are taking us out of our body. And once again, often we are consuming those stimulants because we are actually seeking connection, because we are disconnected within. It's kind of like we want connection, so I'm going to go out. I want to be more connected to myself, but there is a part of me that thinks the automatic solution is to go outside for it. And that just makes the problem worse because it makes us more ungrounded, which is, as we've talked about, not what we want. So this is something to be aware of in your journey to be more present in this moment, is to understand that those stimulants are taking you out of your body and up here. And one of the reasons that you are reaching for the stimulants a lot, for many of us, is because we are feeling disconnected when we're overindulging in these things, okay? Not just for the odd one or two drink, you know, social drink, whatever, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when we overindulge in these things, it's because we are feeling disconnected. We are avoiding connection sometimes, maybe because the connection we know when it comes would tell us something that maybe our mind doesn't want to hear. We are seeking connection by reaching for something externally, when actually what we need to do is go within. I hope that makes sense. It starts to get quite complex, but it's also very simple. When you have a strong connection to your true self, your desire to go outside of yourself for connection is reduced. Your desire to go outside of yourself for the unhealthy connections is reduced. Okay? And the last little tip I want to give you about how to be present is that move your body. Because there's nothing better than there's nothing works better than to help you to be in your physical body than moving your physical body. And it can be a gentle walk, you know, stretching, yoga, dancing, running, swimming, whatever it is, whatever works for you. Okay, this stuff is very personalized and you need to tailor it in a way that works for you and your lifestyle and your personality. But yes, definitely moving your body and also eating healthier food to nourish your body is going to help you to also feel more present and more grounded and more earthed. And this is absolutely conducive to helping you feel more connected in to your true self and the innate wisdom that you hold within you. Okay, let me know if you try some of those or all of them, and let me know how that goes for you. Now, all right, I'm taking a deep breath here as I tell you number 3, because I know that strangely a lot of us have resistance to this one. And I have some theories about why that is. So you ready? It's journaling. Now, some of you might hear me say that and go, oh, Lucretia, that's so boring. Like, and I'm not a writer. I know you're a writer, but I'm not a writer. And, you know, I've heard it all before. And I hear you and I acknowledge you. But I'm going to tell you why journaling is such a powerful tool to help you reconnect in to your true self. And the reason is it is so difficult to lie to yourself when you are journaling. It's when the truth comes out. It's when all the stories that your mind has been telling you, you start to cut through them. Now, please remember that when I'm talking about journaling, I am not talking about doing it on a device, because the actual device can often be an energetic block between your truth coming out. There's actually something that happens when you're doing this in a physical way, straight down your arm, out your fingertips, okay? With pen, pencil, whatever you like to use. So I would encourage you, if you're going to try the journaling path, to take the device out of the equation and do it old school, baby. Do it longhand. Because like I said, this is when you will have greater access to the truth. And I want to just give you another tip here as well, because I know this has come up for some of my clients before, and they can feel like it's a block, but it's actually not at all. A lot of my clients say, oh, you know, but like, what if I get it wrong? What if I write the wrong thing? And I'm not a really good writer, and, you know, it could be really bad. Now, first of all, I want you to know that if that's how you're feeling, completely legitimate. Your feelings are legitimate. And I have definitely had clients in the past say similar things to me. And my response is always the same. This is not an exam. And I think that one of the reasons that some people do have this resistance to journaling is because they're so scared to get anything wrong. Because for whatever reason in their background, their upbringing, they've felt this pressure to try and always be right all the time. And if they haven't got it right, there's been a really negative consequence for them. I understand that. That is a legitimate experience. But for the purposes of your journaling, I want you to keep in mind that this is not an exam. This is not a test. No one else is going to read it. There is no right or wrong. The only thing there is there when you're doing this exercise is your truth. Is you connecting in to who you are and how you truly feel, and being really honest with yourself about that, and knowing that no one else is ever going to read this or see it. And so if something comes out that you think someone else wouldn't like to read, that it doesn't matter. It's still your truth. They're never going to see it. And you don't ever have to tell anyone that you even put it there or that you even felt that way. When you journal, it is a way of accessing your inner truth, reconnecting into that true self, so you can be honest with yourself about how you feel, what you desire, what you really do not want to tolerate anymore, and how you can possibly move forward in a new and healthier way for yourself. So that's one of the reasons that journaling is such a powerful tool. You will probably surprise yourself with some of the things that come to the surface. Some of the things that come to the surface might make you feel uncomfortable because, as I talked about earlier, doing this kind of deep work with yourself is probably going to bring some things to light that you've been pushing down for a very long time because they weren't convenient probably for other people. But your truth is your truth. And I don't want you to get to the end of your life and be on your deathbed and look back and think, I wasted so much time not being honest with myself about what would make me truly happy. And now it's too late. I don't want that for you. That's not a life goal that I want anyone to have. I don't want you to have that experience. I want you to grow to understand yourself at a very deep level, accept yourself, understand what your amazing gifts are, connect into your innate wisdom, and then get out there and create the life and the world that you want to see. But we can't do that if we are bypassing our truth. We can't do that if we're not being honest with ourselves. So this work can be a little bit confronting, but I really encourage you to do it. And the other thing I would just mention about this journaling activity is if you like to draw, what I have had a client do in the past is that she will write and then she will draw pictures and illustrate how she's feeling as well and what's coming up for her. And that was a very powerful way for her to connect in. So by all means, do that if it works for you. You know, these kinds of strategies, we need to look at them in a way that works for us and understand that what works for someone else may not work for us, and that's okay. So tailor it and be open to seeing what bubbles to the surface. Now, in summary, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? What have we covered today? We've talked about why going out and finding yourself is really bad advice. We've talked about why we struggle to connect to our true self, what is influencing that in our lives. We've also done a bit of a practical exercise with you checking in with yourself around how it feels to be connected versus disconnected in your life and the situations where that happened and how it felt in your body. And lastly, we've talked about three really easy things that you can do to help you reconnect in to your true self, to start that journey to create that stronger connection to your truth, your true self, and the innate wisdom that you hold in there. Now, all this information, it's a lot. It might take you a while to, integrate it. And I encourage you to spend some time reflecting on what has come up for you during this workshop, because the insights I've shared with you, I believe, are very powerful and absolutely, yes, can help you reconnect to your true self. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, I have a powerful personalized program that I'm offering, an intuitive mentoring program that I'm offering called The Journey Within. And if that is something you're interested in, there is an email underneath this video where you can get in touch and we can talk about working together. Now, what is The Journey Within about? It is about going much deeper than we have in today's workshop. It's about me working with you to help you build a really powerful and deep and strong connection to your true self. It's about helping you to understand and leverage your beautiful gifts that you have so you can create the life that you want. It is also about me helping you to connect into your innate wisdom, your intuitive wisdom that is already there, and the strategies you can use to tune into that, to help you get on the right path so that you are aligned. Remember, mind, heart, and intuitive wisdom, your inner wisdom. So you can get out there and create the life that you want and create the changes in the world that you want to see. Now, this is very powerful work. It goes for 6 weeks. It's one-on-one sessions. I work with you closely. I pull on all of my intuitive and my psychic skills to help connect you into your true self. I walk beside you in this journey. It's not about me. It's completely about you and where you are going in your life path, and what amazing things that you can do and create and be when you start to come in and connect to your true self, reconnect to this wisdom that is already there for you. So if that feels like something that you would like to explore, if you're ready to go deep with this really powerful work, please send me a message using the email underneath this video and let's talk. Let's see if we are a good fit to work together. I'd love to see how you're going. Anyway, I hope you have found today's workshop helpful and empowering and insightful. I hope it has expanded knowledge about yourself a little, and also helped you to understand at a deeper level how much perhaps we are influenced by the world around us to look outwards, when really we need to start going within. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.